Alrighty, so this is the practice lecture of my final draft of lesson plan 1. And my roommate Kina has graciously agreed to be my ELL for the day. And I'm going to be teaching the used to form to express past habitual habits. So let's get started. When I was younger, I had a lot of energy, but very flat feet. They looked like a duck. They turned out in both directions. And when I ran very, very slow, like a duck. So I was very bad at lots of sports. I was very bad at soccer, football, basketball. And my mom thought maybe my duck feet could help me in the water, so she signed me up for swimming. And I was very, very good at swimming because ducks have perfect feet to swim with. So I was a very fast swimmer, and I got all of my energy out. But these days, I'm very busy, and I have a lot of classes, I have a lot of places to go, and a lot of homework, so I don't have time to swim anymore. And that's part of getting older, but getting older has not been all bad, because when I was younger, I couldn't drive. I didn't know how, and I was too short. So I wasn't allowed to drive any cars. But now I can drive whenever and wherever I want to go. And when I was young, my mom didn't let me wear makeup. She said only grown-ups wear makeup. And now that I am a grown-up, I can wear makeup any day that I choose. There's a lot of activities that we did as little kids that we don't do anymore. And there's a lot of activities that we couldn't do as little kids, or we didn't do, that we can do now. Can anyone think of any activities that we used to really like to do that when we were young that we can't do now?
I used to play with dolls.
Perfect. Little kids play with dolls. Anything else?
I used to play house a lot.
Yes, playing house and playing pretend. And one more thing.
I used to take naps.
Perfect. We used to take naps, and most of us are unfortunate and can't take naps anymore. I wish that I could. So these are all activities that, as kids, we did habitually. We did, over and over again, maybe every day. But as adults, we either don't do them at all, or we do them only occasionally or rarely. Those are time words to express that we don't do it often. So when we talk about these habitual actions that we don't do anymore, we use the used to form, and we say, I used to play pretend, but now I don't. Or I used to play house, or I used to play with dolls, but now I don't. And we can add time expressions at the end to say, when I was little, I used to play basketball, but I don't play basketball anymore. And today that's going to be the main focus of our lesson. We are going to learn how to express past habitual actions. So I would like to ask the class, how would we ask a question using the simple past tense? Using the ed form, the suffix ed on a verb. How would we ask a question using that form?
So, did you used to...
No, not using used to. Just say you're asking someone if they played basketball yesterday. How would you ask that?
I'd ask did you play basketball yesterday?
Perfect. We would use did you, using the helper do in the past tense, did, play ball, and I'm just going to leave it simple form. Did you play ball? Now, to turn this question into a used to question, we are going to insert used to right in between the subject, you, and the verb play. Did you used to play ball? And to answer this question, we're going to take the past tense of the answer. I played ball as a kid to indicate when you played ball. And then, to turn this into a used to phrase, we are going to actually move the past tense from the verb. So we are going to take the past tense away from the verb and turn it into just simply play. And we are going to put used to in between the subject, I, and the verb. Ooh, writing upside down is difficult. I used to play ball as a kid. That is how we would phrase a question and an answer. And the answer form of using used to can also be used as a statement form. So the phrase, I played ball as a kid, may be used to answer the question, did you play ball? Or you could just be making a statement to someone to start a conversation. Just walk up to your friend and say, I used to play ball as a kid. And then you have a conversation about playing ball when you were little. So really, you do have all of the tools to form this form already in your head. You didn't even know it. It was already there, and I'm just helping you to know exactly where to sew the parts together. All right, and so the next part we're going to talk about is how to turn these statements from a positive statement to a negative statement. We're going to negate used to. This is very easy. It's very easy. You already have the parts, and I'm just going to show you how they fit together. I used to play ball as a kid. This is the positive form. I used to play ball as a kid. To turn this into the negative form, we're going to use the helper do in the past tense, did, and then we're going to put the negator not, and we're going to contract those two. Did not into didn't. You already know this. We've already learned how to negate the past tense of do. We're going to put it exactly where we put it in the other statements, between the subject, I, and the verb used to play. We're going to put it right between here. I didn't. Oops. This is so difficult. I didn't used to play ball as a kid. It's as simple as that. You already knew it. I'm just helping you along to fit it together. That's what teachers do. All right. That is it. There's nothing else to this. It's very simple, and you can use this in many situations. And not just to complain about what you can't do anymore, but that's what we're going to be doing today. All right, so we're going to go into our first activity, and I'm going to let you look at what I wrote on the board here. I'm going to ask you to make a statement to me. Don't even look at the question. I'm just going to ask you to make a statement about what you did as a kid. Using this form. So, Kina, Why don't you give me a statement?
I used to go bouldering as a kid.
Perfect. She used the form exactly how I have it written here. I used to go, instead of play, go bouldering as a kid. It's perfect. Now, I'm going to cover this all up, and I'm going to ask her to make another statement, positive or negative if she's feeling adventurous. And you won't be able to see the form, but I want you to use used to form a statement and tell me something you did as a kid or didn't do.
I used to go adventuring in the woods as a kid.
Perfect. And she used a location to further describe what she used to do. What did she do? She used to go adventuring. Where did she do this? She used to go adventuring in the woods. And then there's a time statement as a kid. It's a very well thought out and grammatically good, grammatically perfect used to sentence. Good job. All right.
Thank you.
And now I'm going to show some pictures of some activities that little kids are doing. And I want you to take this activity and you form a used to question asking me if I did this activity as a kid. And then after I answer, I want her to answer. All right, Kina, what do you see?
2 kids catching butterflies, so that'd be, did you used to catch butterflies as a kid?
Yes, I did. I did used to catch butterflies as a kid. What about you?
I didn't used to catch butterflies as a kid.
Perfect. She used the negation form. So she's on a roll. All right. What about this one?
It's playing basketball. So did you used to play basketball as a kid?
I did used to play basketball as a kid. What about you?
Yes, I did used to play basketball as a kid.
And now I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to ask her the next question first, and then she will ask me after she answers. So this is jumping rope. So Kina, did you used to jump rope as a little kid?
I did used to jump rope as a little kid. What about you?
I did. I used to jump rope as a little kid too. Alrighty, that's very good. And this is a very short lecture today because it is a very short topic, and the whole class seems to be getting it really well. All right, so our last activity today, we are going to have a conversation about things that we don't do anymore and why we don't do them. And darn it, it stinks that we don't do them anymore because we love these activities. So an example would be, I used to go to ballet class every day, but I don't go to ballet anymore because I'm too old and my back hurts too much to dance. And then my conversation partner might say, that's too bad. My knees hurt too much to run, but I used to run every day. And we are just going to have a little mini conversation right along those lines, complaining, because complaining is a very important part of conversation in American life. We're going to complain about some things that we don't do anymore. So, I'll start it off with, let's call in someone we haven't picked on yet. Kina. All right. So, I used to bake with my mom all the time when I was little. And I don't bake with her anymore because I don't live with my mom anymore. And it stinks.
Yeah, that sounds like it sucks. I used to go bouldering, I mentioned earlier, but I got back my fear of heights, so I don't anymore.
Darn, I am also very afraid of heights. I used to be able to climb trees, believe it or not. And I used to like to climb trees, but I certainly don't anymore. I have fallen out of many trees.
Yeah, there's this one tree that I used to climb in the park I used to go to, but I don't live in the area anymore.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
All these things that we can't do anymore. Darn it. And there you have it. That's a very integral part of American culture, complaining about things that we can't do. That's going to be it for class today. Y'all did fantastically. I could not have asked for a better class. So go forth and use this form in everyday conversation. Alrighty, class is dismissed. And thank you.
Welcome. Thank you, teacher.